Good afternoon, everyone. Michael Worth with Worth Your Well Leather. Today we're going to be doing. Alrighty. Today we're going to be building an iPhone case for iPhone 6s. And this case here is going to be a cell phone wallet case. You could probably buy these a little bit cheaper than what I can make them for, what I sell them for, definitely. But mine are handmade, and sometimes that costs a little bit more. This one right here is actually going to be a gift for somebody. And so I figured, why not live stream how to make a cell phone wallet case. Now, just to show how, I don't want to say simple because this is kind of a complicated project, but it's not complicated in how to. It's complicated more in like some of the stitching, or at least the style that I make. These cases here, they're great for protecting your phone, and for women, if you don't want to carry a purse, I put card slots on one side of it. That's why it's a wallet. And you can put your debit card, your ID, a little bit of cash in there. And since that your phone is probably never leaving your side, you will always have it. Men, if you don't like carrying around your big bulky wallet, I have other options for that. But this is one of them as well. And it's just a fun little project. This is going to probably take a little bit of time, so if you're tuning in for this, I'll probably be here for a while. We're going to be using two types of leather. This is 4 to 5 ounce veg tan leather. This is a little bit more firm of a leather. A little bit more firm, so it's going to give the case some of its rigidness and all that stuff. This will get dyed a mahogany color, which is kind of like a deeper red wine type color. And the inside of it for the wallet portion is going to be this nice brown upholstery grade leather. Has a nice little pebble texture to it, and it will go really nice with the wine color of the outside of it. So those are our two types of leather that we're using. And like with most of my projects, there is very few tools that you will actually need to complete this project. As I use them, I'll talk about them a little bit like I normally do. But first and foremost, we are going to need to start off with a pattern. And the pattern, hold on one second. And I just dropped my phone. Alright. Got somebody text me about my link is not up. Is that the case? I am actually starting a little bit late because of some of the technical difficulties. Give me 2 seconds to check the stream to make sure I am up and live, and I will be with you here in 1 second. Hello, everyone. Alright, well, it looks like my stream is going, however, oh, I hate technology sometimes. I'm sorry, people. Sorry about that. Okay, so where was I? Okay, we need to start off with a pattern. This is my iPhone 6s. I have actually looked up the measurements for it. It is 5.5 inches tall, 2 3/4 inches wide, and about 1/3 of an inch thick. I know that that's not 1/3 of an inch, but when we get to that portion of the pattern making, we will know what to do. So, to start off with the pattern, I do not like using regular printer paper because it's soft, it folds up, it's not good for tracing. Get you some poster board. You can find it cheap at just about anywhere. Makes great pattern paper. From there, I just cut out what I know I'm going to be using to get it a little bit smaller and easier to work with. Pull out my cutting mat here. These self-sealing cutting mats, they're great, but they're not essential. And I can tell you from experience, because I've had to replace a couple of these, if you're using a utility knife, these self-sealing utility mat or cutting mats, they work great for a little while, and then you will eventually cut right through them. They don't self-seal so well when you make a slice with a utility knife over half the length of it. So keep that in mind. One of the things I prefer using, but mine broke on me, is just a polymer Walmart special cutting board. Mine broke, so it's useless to me right now. I need to pick up another one. Just some of the cheap supplies that are out there for an alternative. This came with a kit that my family got me, so for Christmas, so I am going to use it because, well, they got it for me to use. Now, when you're making your pattern for the case, you need to keep a couple things in mind. How is that phone going to stay secure in there? With my case here, I am putting a flap over the top of the phone and over the bottom of the phone. So when we trace this out, we got to keep that in mind. So we're going to be doing actually a couple different traces. One of them is going to be with a pencil. That is going to be the actual phone size and the actual case size. And then we're also going to do some adaptations to it with a Sharpie. As long as you do your patterns the same way, things will go pretty much the same every time. You can keep order to your chaos, which my shop is loaded in chaos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my iPhone out. Like so. I know it doesn't show up very well on the camera. I will actually redo that with pen so the camera can see it, pick it up a little bit better. Okay, that's one. Very simple, very easy. Next, to keep everything on line, we're pulling out our little square. And we're going to draw a line across the top, lining up with the phone, and across the bottom. ultimate goal with that is our phone case should be no taller than that. Now, our phone is 1/3 of an inch thick, give or take a couple millimeters. I rounded up and changed it over to inches. But we're doing a fold over style case, so what we need to do is I am actually going to leave a full inch in between the phone, because that will allow for the fold over. You got your wallet side and your phone side. Put your cell phone case up in there. Draw your line. There we go. Now, on your phone side, we need to create the fold over. It's 1/3 of an inch, and we want it to come down 1/3 of an inch. So, that puts us at 2/3, but you got to account for the fold. So what we're going to do is we're going to just say, call it roughly about 3/4 of an inch. Put your square up here. Make your mark up to 3/4. And we got to do that with the bottom as well. Okay, that gives us our fold over. We'll just square those off. Now we have it like so. You have your tabs that are going to fold over the side of the phone and down the face of it. But if it goes over the face of it, it's just folded over there. It's not really secure in the phone any, because any amount of pressure in that fold over will open up. So you got to create sewing tabs. Those tabs, we are going to make roughly 1/4 of an inch down from the top, or the outside edge of your phone. Making your pattern look something like that. When we get to cutting and folding the leather, those will make more sense here in just a little bit. Now, what we need to do is we need to cut out our pattern. here is our pattern to our cell phone wallet case. Just nothing elaborate or difficult about it. And what's going to end up happening, if you can imagine this with leather, when you're in here, your phone is actually going to be that was an ugly mark. These tabs, you're going to fold over. I need to make these tabs just a little bit longer. No big deal. It's not like I've ruined the project yet. Your phone will fit in there, and these tabs will actually get stitched in to where the top and the bottom of your phone is secured inside the box. And then the wallet folds over. Kind of like so. And then we'll put a little strap on there with a little button and all that stuff. But that's pretty much your pattern. Nothing major to it. Relatively easy. So, now we're ready to move on to cutting out the leather, just as soon as I find where I placed it. There we go. If you guys are liking the stream, hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I do these projects bi-weekly. Sometimes I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't. But that's okay. We will all learn together. Actually, I think I'm going to go more like that. Okay, that's outside of our leather. So what we need to do, that's going to be the outside of our case. So what we need to do is turn it over to cut it out. Let me think that through for a second. Yes. You'd be surprised on how many times that actually trips me up right there. I know it's a simple mistake, but it's one that I continuously make. If you guys have any comments, please feel free to leave a comment. Join in on the chat. We are experiencing a little bit of weather out here, so you may hear some raindrops. I will try and talk over it. It doesn't rain in the south ever, does it? Okay. So we have our pattern. We have it transferred over to leather. This part here we'll just save for future use, or if there's any deep thinking that I have to do with this project, you'll see me folding up on the leather to try and get it figured out. Yep, we're still going good. You're going to have to excuse some of the camera angles. I'm operating off of one camera. But you guys really need to see me cut out a tracing. Okay. Alright. I've cut out the tracing. I've elongated the tabs going around. Now, what we need to do is we need to shave this down just a little bit. This right here is a scythe, and what it does is it will thin the leather out for you in your bending spots. So wherever there's a bend, we just thin it down some. So the leather will bend more easily. I may have scythed that piece just a little too thin. This tool right here takes lots of practice to get used to. It is easy to mess up a project with this tool. So, I urge you to practice a lot. Or encourage, not urge. This is probably one of my least favorite tools that I use, because it is so easy to make a mistake with it. Alright, moving on, and we got all kinds of thunder going. Nice. You can see that when this case is all folded up, and in, how the phone will fit. I'm going to make one slight modification here at the fold point. On both sides. I'm going to mark this in pencil because that will give me the line that the cell phone actually sits. And where the fold has to be. Well, it's getting done in pen now. One of the tools that you can use, or one of the things that you can use to mark on leather when you don't want lines to show up, is chalk, because it easily dusts off. We're just going to mark all our fold lines so we know where they're at. The lines that I just drew on there should not ever be seen by human eyes. Should be in the keyword there. What did I do with my pattern? There it is. Put our pattern back up here, because what we are going to do is where I made that cut, we're just going to make it uniform for that whole piece. For people that may be interested in this, and you're like, man, you're kind of adjusting on the fly. You're right, I am. But you have to adapt to how things are going. And in my case anyways, this is only the second cell phone case that I've made. And if you ask my wife, the first one still isn't finished. Okay, as we're bending this around a little bit, you can see it kind of start to take shape where the phone will fit inside there. You just got to kind of bend it and coax it into shape. It'll get there. Okay. From there, the next thing that we're doing is we are going to dye this that nice mahogany color. Got a pack of 25 to 1-inch foam brushes. These work great for dye, plus they're disposable, so they're a one-time use. Clean up my workspace here just a little bit. From there, we'll dye. I need to go ahead and put my gloves on. Dyeing leather, you should always wear gloves. Not so much that the dye is toxic, because it's not. But if you think about it, leather is skin, and you're covered in leather. This stuff dyes leather. Get it on your hands, it will stay there for several days. So, some people case their leather, which is nothing more than submerging it in water. But with this antique gel dye, I have found that I can actually get a really good result with it from a color that I like anyways, without soaking the leather. Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit the like button. If you like the content that I've been putting out, please subscribe. I stream these projects bi-weekly, and I'd be more than happy to take any suggestions from people on what next project should be. Guys, have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the chat. When I notice it, I will answer. I like these shock rags right here because after I finish applying the dye on one side, it goes on really dark, like so. And I'll show you what color it is when we're finished. Dampen your shock rag a little bit. Now look at that color. That's a beautiful, I call it like a deep red wine color. The actual name of the dye is mahogany. I guess it is a mahogany color. I'm also going to dye the inside so it's uniform. at the edges. I'll probably end up going back over the edges again. Doing a little bit. Cap it, cap the die. Almost took my gloves off too early. Moisten my rag again. Just rub the excess off. Once that's done on that side, see how it bled over a little bit? There's ways to go about it to where you don't get that bleed over, but once you're done, if you wipe that bleed over a lot off, what you end up with is just a little hint of a splash pattern. And I kind of like it. See how soft that's gotten for folding over for your wallet size? Alright, that takes care of the dyeing for right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some satin sheen on the inside, and what that does is it kind of finishes the leather, it kind of seals it. You don't want none of that dye bleeding off onto your phone or any of that stuff, so. Boy, got some weather coming in. Alright, once that's been applied, you let it sit there for a second, and then go ahead and wipe that off as well, because if you don't wipe it, what your leather ends up looking like, it's kind of like after you go through the car wash and you don't get the spot-free rinse and the water droplets dry onto your car, kind of does the same thing to leather. But if you wipe it off, you get a nice even little shine. Alright, that's done for right now, so I'm going to take my gloves off. And that's looking nice. And now we're going to take care of this fold over part. Which, when you fold it over, by following the pattern, where we got our folding lines, okay, I know you can't see it on the leather, but when it folds over, those tabs are what's going to eventually get sewed to the back of the case they keep it folded over. And then your phone just slips up under the leather lip on both the top and the bottom. And that's what secures your phone inside. So, I have folded it along the bottom line. And I've folded it at the top line. And now I'm going to mark where I'm going to punch my holes for the stitching. Or roughly thereabouts. There's nothing super special about that. Just made a mark at the fold. I'm going to take my two prong punch. Today I'm going to stay at this table here and make it just a little noisy, but I don't see the need in going all the way over there for just these little holes. Just as soon as I find my hammer. Use a dead blow hammer of some sort with a non-metallic head, because when you use the metallic heads, you'll actually start damaging your tools. Now, if I was going to be pounding on that for several stitches, I would have moved over to my pounding board and done it there. Fold it over and take your scratch awl, which I had up here. That seems to be the tool that I lose the fastest, no matter where I put it, so I won't lose it. Alrighty. Seems that I can't find my scratch awl because I have misplaced it. Use a needle. Mark the leather on the back side of that hole. And that tells you where you're going to place your other hole for stitching. For those of you that are watching, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. I appreciate it. If you don't like the content, hit the dislike button. That way I at least know that somebody cares. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. When I get 100 subscribers on my channel, I am going to do a special project, and it is going to be a giveaway. For hitting 100 subscribers. So keep that in mind. One of the things I am doing with adding these extra holes right here is I am giving myself stitching holes to really secure that tab down, because due to the design of it, that is completely my fault, I did not make those tabs wide enough to put more than one stitch in. So by adding those extra holes, I can stitch it down and create a nice little seam with it, and one stitch into those tabs right there will be more than enough to secure it. Some of the stuff I do, I can make a mistake here or there and fix it relatively easy. So it's not really a mistake if you can fix it. I like the Bob Ross theory on that. It's a happy accident. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut these tabs to just a little ways past that hole. That one's already good. Okay, that is what I mean by adding a couple of the extra little stitch holes along the side. I have 3 holes right there, and I only have 1 on the tab. That 1 will go in the center, but I'll stitch it up all 3 and back stitch it across all 3, and it creates a nice strong seam, so that 1 hole in the tab will actually be fairly strong. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the wallet side. With the wallet side, we're going to go with this nice chocolate brown. And we're going to cut that using our pattern for our iPhone. it looks to be that that letter is just a little bit bigger than what the iPhone is. So that piece will get tossed over there. And we are going to trace out a pattern and make it fit. Alright, so now we have a fitted pattern for the inside of the wallet on the cell phone. Now we need to add card slots. The card slots I like for this are the vertical ones. Only reason why I'm pulling out the big square is I like this big 2-inch guide that I have for cutting out card slots. Nice and simple. Oh, I got a bit of a mess here. I really need to take a day and clean out my shop. No matter how I lay that down, as long as I make my cut there, hold it in place, and there, I know that this piece is 2 inches. Now, for how many cards I'm going to put in there, what we're going to do take a gift card because it's the same size as a debit card, credit card. And to do this, you want that card to not stick out past your phone. So we keep that backer piece in place. Lay your debit card down, and then put your strap for your card slot. I need to square that off. Put your strap down for it. And cut it. I now have one card slot set for the phone. I'm going to cut a couple more of these so there's multiple cards that can fit in there. I like the magic number of 4. So today's episode of Worthwhile Leather has been brought to you by the number 4. Looky there's just enough on that one piece to do 4 cards. Now, to keep it from getting all bulked up here in the center, because we're going to put one there, one there, one there, one there. It can get a little thick going through all that leather when you're stitching. So what I'm going to do is on 3 of them, I'm going to make a 1/2 inch notch. And form like a little T. What that will do, got your card down in position. When that one's there, this next one, excuse me, will fit up right inside that notch. And now, throughout all these layers right here, it's never more than 2 layers of leather thick. Except for in the center. But your sides stay nice and thin. It doesn't bulk up on you. And you only do that with 3 of them because the 4th one is a showpiece. You want that one to stay intact. If you guys have any questions about the leather work, please ask them in the chat. When I notice it, I will answer the question to the best of my ability. Alright, I have 3 of my card slots. I get all lined up, all nice and pretty. And then the last one goes on the bottom. Now, those card slots stay in place by being stitched. But the first thing that you got to do when you have them all lined up, got them all lined up nice and pretty. Take them all off You have to stitch the bottom of that card slot, otherwise that card's going to slip all the way through your wallet. There is a bunch of ways of doing it. I have seen many. And some of them seem, in all honesty, overly complicated. Might be a little faster if you're doing a huge amount of card slots, but for 4, why not just poke a couple of holes and stitch them. Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll just go to our fallback color of black. And did anyone see where I put that needle at? That's some curved needle. Not really what I'm looking for. There we go. Guys, please excuse the weather. I can control many things. However, I have not figured out how to control the weather yet. I am out of my storage building, which is also my workshop. And it sounds like we have a small monsoon going on outside. I'm not going to go over the different type of stitchers that are out there because there's so many different videos that cover that. I got the way that I stitch and like some people have theirs. Find one that you like and can do and do good and just run with it. I won't judge. Listen to that rain. And there's the thunder. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. You just line the next card slot, card holder, up to the bottom of the previous one. Punch your holes. Stitch it down. Unfortunately, in leatherwork, there is so much stitching involved, and it is probably the boringest thing out there. And I apologize for how boring it is. Second. What do you mean you're not coming down right now? Your door is still closed.
Okay.
Yes.
I just got one on. I just pressed up the house and I was about to come down. I might not even come down.
You know you're on live stream, right? Love you. Oh, for some reason my wife does not want to come down to her bedroom. Because of the small monsoon going on outside. That was a little concerning. On this last piece here, seeing that we can't stitch it down like we normally would, what we're going to do we're going to apply a little bit of contact cement to this to get it to stick in place, and then we're going to apply this to the rest of the wallet. stick down as well. Okay. We have that glued in place. And now we are going to put it as far as the wallet goes. And then we'll get to finishing this project up. Now, I am leaving this slot here, down this side, open for cash. Slide a couple of bills in there. No, they won't fit whole, but if you fold them in half, you can tuck them up in there. I need to stitch down that side, so the side of the card slots are secure. More stitching. Guys, if you're liking the channel, hit the like button. If you like my work, hit the subscribe button. I will live stream a project bi-weekly. And when I hit 100 subscribers, I will have a special project that I do that will be a giveaway. I don't know the rules for the giveaway yet, but we will think of something. And it sounds like the weather may have moved on. I know this project has taken a while. It is one of the faults with live streaming, is I cannot speed it up through the boring stuff. I wish I could, but I can't. So we stitched down this side. This is the inside of the wallet. So I didn't want to stitch this to the wallet because behind here, this side here, is actually the billfold portion of it. Makes sense? Don't want to stitch it to the wallet if you're going to be trying to slide cash in there. If you guys want to see some of my other projects that I've done, I have a Facebook page, Worthwhile Leather. That's WIRTH, Wild Leather, at whatever Facebook.com it is. Okay, now we're going to apply contact cement to the wallet case and the card slots, so that will stay in place long enough for me to poke the holes. When you're using contact cement, a little bit goes a long way. Got that glued down. Cover up the glue to keep it from drying. And now we're going to trim the edges just a little bit. And for this amount of pounding, we're going to go over here to my pounding shelf to get that done. Providing I don't fall and break my neck on the way over there. All that we're doing is we're punching holes on 3 sides of this for stitching. And that will secure the wallet portion to the cell phone case portion. Now that I've pounded out all the holes for the cell phone case, now we get to sit down and stitch and stitch and stitch. So I'm going to lower the camera down to where I'm in my chair. Pull me out a length of get all the stitching done. Alrighty. Hook up my phone so it doesn't die. And now we begin the fun part. I apologize for this boring part once again. However, that's just leather work in general. Do you folks have any questions? If so, please feel free to ask. For those of you that are wondering, what about the cell phone's camera and all that stuff? No, I have not forgotten it, believe it or not. We will get to that here in just a little bit. I guess that should have been part of the pattern making process, but I didn't do it that way, so oh well. I don't think the storm's finished. My dogs are probably up at the house right now having a cow. Guys, once again, I'm sorry for how boring the stitching process of this is. Boring, boring, boring. If there's anybody in the chat that has anything that they want to talk about, be more than happy to talk with you. Now would be a good time. Kind of help pass the time of me doing this. Previous videos, I talked about how I got into leather working. I don't think I'm going to bore you guys with that same story again. But I guess one of the things that I would like to talk to you about is if you're thinking about doing this as a business or as an added income, don't ever think that your projects are not good enough to sell. I guarantee you that the right person will come along, see you tinkering on something, and absolutely will have to have it. I was working on hand stamping leather artwork the very first time. And I'm far from an artist, not even close. I can draw stick people, block letters, and that's right close to what I was doing with my artwork. I was just getting in some stamping time to try and learn how to do it, and somebody bought the piece that I was working on. If you guys want to learn how to do hand stamping on leather, as far as artwork goes, I'm not talking about like just a butterfly stamp or a deer stamp or whatever. I'm talking artwork. You guys need to check out Don Gonzalez Saddlery on YouTube. That man is an artist with leather. Alright, as we're coming to an end of our stitching, what we're going to do next is actually poke the holes for the thumb sensor and the camera and all that other good stuff that will otherwise be covered up. Now, there's a few different ways of doing that. You can turn around and cut them out as part of the pattern by using a utility knife. But if you have the tools, you might as well use them. Which now brings up a good point of what did I do other than with the tools. I have a little die cutter set right here. That's perfect for this. There's my hammer. I spend a lot of time looking for this tool, too. The buttonhole on the bottom, center, when that folds over, you'll be able to get to your button. Now the back camera. The camera is going to be over there somewhere with it close to the stitching. So what we're going to do is give it a nice little block out. There, I have the thumb hole and the camera hole now. Excuse me. And now we can stitch these down and go from there. So, back to more stitching. I know you guys were just absolutely thrilled to find out about more stitching, right? I know I was. Just love it when my project gets all caught up in itself. Since that it's only 3 stitches, I'm going around it a few times, make sure it's all nice and strong and secure. Oh, come on! Alrighty. Coming along nicely. Where'd my phone go? There it is. We have finished with the case. This is not the correct phone for it, which is why it's not fitting. However, you slide your phone up in there and down in there, and there's your case. Still got your buttonhole for your phone and everything. If that was the correct phone for that case, it would work at be in there all nice and tight, and you have your wallet for the closure. I am going to do one simple strap on around, add it to it, and then we'll be done. So, with our philosophy of never throwing anything away, we need to poke a buttonhole in there. I have a hole punch somewhere for that. For that very reason. I have to take that over to my pounding board because that table is not sturdy enough to take the hit. There's my hole punch. We'll get it on the turn around and threw away my brushes just a little bit too soon. Folks, we are just about finished. I am shooting for the 2-hour mark. Guys have been patient with me so far. Just a little bit more of your time and we will be done. Find my snaps. Oh, there's my hole punches. We are now done with the die. we're done with the gloves and that. Get my snaps out here. Back over to the pounding table. Get the other end of the snap. Oh, how lovely is that? I overshot it. Okay, so what we'll do is we will pull it tight. I will mark it by pressing it tight. I have the mark. And we will redo this one. And of course I dropped a piece of the snap. Why? Because that's how my luck goes. Alright, cut this off in a rounded section. I used to do this absolutely by hand with a utility knife. However, if you get some rounded end cutters, you will be absolutely blessed with prettier looking straps. That little hammer is way too lightweight. Holy cow. Those ends look so much better. than if I was to try and cut that. So now our strap will get glued and stitched just on this side. I'm going to leave it a free strap on the other. But then in essence, there's a cell phone wallet. That, I need that. I do need to reopen my glue. I thought about it for a minute, but the final product would suffer if I did not glue this strap. Let that dry for a minute. Actually, not that bad of a hammer. It's cute. And it's going to require the pounding board. Stitch this last part down, folks, and we are complete. Folks, 2 hours and 10 minutes, and we have a cell phone wallet without the cell phone. Open it up. There's your card slots. All right. 1, 2, 3. Here, let's go this way. A little bit of glue. Alright. Still a little bit of glue. Alright, there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 card slots. Little slot. Slip some cash. Your phone side, you have a hole for your thumb reader on your iPhone and your camera hole. Close it up, wrap the strap, boom, it's secure. It ain't coming out of there. Folks, thank you for joining me. I know this was a long one. These are not my favorite projects to do, so it takes me a little bit longer on these. So I apologize for that. However, I still thought it was a good project. And I stream bi-weekly. So not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. I will be doing another live stream of a project. I don't know what that one will be yet. I will post it on my Facebook page, Worthwhile Leather. That's WIRTH. And I try to stream somewhere right around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Today I had some technical difficulties. Wasn't able to get it kicked off when I wanted to. I apologize for that. But if you have any comments, please leave them down below. If you like the content, hit the like button. It helps the stream out. If you like the projects and want to learn more, subscribe to my channel and put your questions in the chat. I will answer questions while I'm working as they appear in the chat. So, thanks for joining me and have a good day. Have a good weekend.